Happy Tuesday! For all of my friends, family out there, I may have already spoke with you that I have it on my heart to start sharing a lot of the knowledge that I've learned over the last 9 months on my journey with cancer. As many of you know, I'm a nurse. I work in the medical field. All of my training comes from Western medicine, scientifically based, peer-reviewed articles, all of those things. Otherwise, it didn't apply. It doesn't apply to my career. And in 2015, I was diagnosed with breast cancer on my left breast, pretty good sized lump, about the size of a grape, probably. It was felt through my shirt. I could physically feel it. I did not have any symptoms otherwise. The lump was removed. I completed radiation for 6 weeks daily. And at the time, testing on the tumor had it rated at such a very low occurrence, if I took tamoxifen, that no chemo was necessary. I stayed completely cancer-free as far as I knew. That was with seeing an oncologist regularly, having mammograms yearly and ultrasounds yearly of my breasts only. This past September of 2018, I work in what is called a nuclear medicine department, where they do MRIs, PET scans. PET scans are what is primarily used for detecting cancer, as many of you know, and CT, PET CTs, things like that. So I decided, because I had been experiencing some bloating and just kind of like my stomach wasn't doing real well, I asked if I could just get a quick scan. It wasn't a PET scan, it was an MRI, but they did find something in my lung. Made a report, and I reported it to my local oncologist here in the Phoenix area, who I've been seeing for about 5 years. And he decided he wanted a PET scan to verify. We did the PET scan, and I no more than got off the table from the PET scan, in which I was 100% sure would be negative because I've never had any symptoms, to find out the radiologist at Banner Health at the time pulled me directly into his office with the look of complete sheer terror and fear on his face to show me a PET scan that was riddled with cancer metastasis all through my right lung, my lymph nodes of my left area of my neck. They couldn't tell if possibly into my spine, possibly my liver, because it was all around that same area of my lung. But it looked horrifying. And basically, in my Western medicine training, what I've seen, what I know, now I'm not an oncology nurse, I am a cardiac nurse, but what I have seen in Western medicine is that this diagnosis was no good outcome. There's no good outcome from this. So anyhow, I'm going to cut this a little bit short because I want to start focusing on some of the alternative therapies that I've included. But I have a kind of a completely different stance than probably most of you have heard on doing, approaching this road with cancer and the battle of cancer, than probably most other people you've heard discuss it. I know there's a very definitive line between Western medicine and Eastern medicine, Eastern being the alternative therapies, Western medicine being science-based only. I know there are people who just like politics, just like Democrats, Republicans, they fall either on one or the other, and they tend to completely follow one or the other. I am I'm more in the middle of the road. And in fact, probably more than either of those things, I am more of a spiritually based cancer fighter. My only possible way of dealing with this at the time, I immediately started having panic attacks in the middle of the night, 2 and 3 times a night. I couldn't function. I couldn't go to work. I was feeling so completely fearful of death and my outcome and my situation, what was coming, what was going to happen. So for me, prayer, reaching out to your God, trusting, having faith was everything that has led me to where I am today. Without that guidance, I don't believe that you or any of us will ever know which path to take and which combinations of both paths will get you to the position that I'm in now, and I hope to stay in. I immediately started doing meditative prayers, listening to YouTube channels that were just meditations repeating all of the scriptures of God's promises to us. And that just became so central in everything that I was relying on that I don't even feel I've had to do research initially on my own. I feel like a lot of the therapies that I have learned about and I've become very well educated in and versed in, that essentially took all of that cancer away, which was the end result. 3 months later, a completely clean PET scan. But a lot of those therapies came to me driving down the road, going to a coffee shop, sitting at a bench at work, sitting at the Mayo Clinic, waiting for an appointment. Things became very repetitive and they were coming at me initially before I started to venture into the extensive research that I've done, which led me down the path that I've taken to where I am today. So first and foremost, there are so many therapies in the alternative world. So many people out there that will tell you something's worked for them or hasn't worked for them, that it is so easy for us to just get to a point of not believing any of it and shutting it down and not knowing what to do, quite frankly. That I really just want to start out by instilling my belief that you have got to be prayerfully asking God to guide you in which therapies are going to work for you. Every cancer is as different as every person there is, and treatments are going to vary and work for me or someone that don't work for other people. But it's central to know that God is the healer. He is our ultimate physician. He has brought science to us. He has brought the natural therapies to us. Natural therapies are biblical. If you really start paying attention, to things in the Bible, the seeds of the earth. I mean, there are seeds out there, apricot seeds, that are known to cure cancer. There are herbs and the turmeric, the supplements that are from nature. God specifically said in the Bible that we are to rely on the seed of the earth. Fasting is biblical. Fasting is something I am doing today. When I was diagnosed this time around with cancer, I honestly, in my whole Christian walk, had never fasted, and that means like a complete fast where I'm drinking water only for 24 hours. I had tried giving up coffee or a thing or here or there in prayer, but this is the first experience that I've ever delved into complete fasting, water fasting only. Well, lo and behold, current research now, new research. I just printed a peer-reviewed article today from 2015 that is proving that fasting, intermittent fasting, different ways to go about that. I'll let you do your research on that. But intermittent fasting, not only it does a whole gamut of things within our system to help regulate inflammation, metabolism, and insulin. So fasting was something I was afraid of because in the past for me, I would get low blood sugars if I didn't eat, or if I woke up in the morning, I correlated, I figured out that if I ate carbohydrates in the morning, then I would dump it with my blood sugar in mid-morning. I figured that out long ago, but I was very nervous to not eat at all. And it turns out that fasting and not eating, all I can tell you is I feel fantastic when I do it. It's a clarity of mind. It's a boost in my metabolism, and the health benefits that I feel immediately, let alone what research has shown long term, it's undeniable. So that's one of many things that I honestly, I'm doing it primarily when God lays it on my heart. I might be doing it a little differently than you would, or that you would read, but I really have learned through this process to trust God's guidance on my heart. So this is the first of many videos. I want to go over many of the therapies that I feel truly have worked for me. I have now had, so September 2018 is when I first had the terrible, frightening scan that looked as if I wouldn't make it more than a few months. And as of December 2018, my scans were clear, and I had a repeat scan because I almost couldn't believe that first scan, to tell you the truth. I had spent 3 months accepting this, completely kind of revamping my diet and what I'm doing here at home, along with going to the Mayo Clinic. I will let you know, at the Mayo Clinic, I am getting, it's technically kind of an immunotherapy. It's protein that is called Herceptin and Perjeta. I get that every 3 weeks as an infusion. So that has been part of the journey too. However, when I went in for my repeat scan 3 months into this, I had just got back from a cancer clinic in Mexico, where I was receiving cancer therapy, alternative therapies, in the form of heat, diet, ozone, oxygen, enemas, coffee enemas, immune-building nutrition, detoxification, hyperbaric, all sorts of treatments. I was getting treatments all day for 6 days out of 7 of the week, and I was there for nearly a month. So both of those things were going on, and my doctor at the Mayo Clinic, he's been a fantastic oncologist as far as they go, in accepting me wanting to try both of these things alongside of each other. And he literally jumped off the bed and said, "Carrie, I expected it to work, but I never have seen it work so fast. And I couldn't have asked for a better outcome." Now, he won't tell me I'll ever be cured. He will never tell me that I'm even in remission. Honestly, they don't really use those words, because it's now stage 4 and in the lymphatic system throughout the body. But there's no denying, I know, we all know, there are people who have lived for years and years and years after being given a death sentence. So this first video is just about me starting to express and give God the glory that he deserves, but start to go over a lot of the things that have come into my life, the therapies, sort of how they've come to me, which I don't think has ever been a mistake or not purposeful from God. And just to remind everyone that I know it's overwhelming, the amount of stories you hear, and it doesn't seem to work for you, or it's too many things to try to keep track of. We don't know which one works, or it's too confusing. It's making me feel hopeless that I'm not doing them all right. That's a huge one. I'm not doing them all, and I'm not doing them all as hardcore and as effectively as probably they did. That's not the point. do the best you can, and you're going to find so much more satisfaction with your road in cancer if you are connecting with God and if you are doing things for yourself and not just waiting for a doctor to dictate what goes on in your life and your journey with this. So I'm going to end with this today. This is sort of a trial basis. I really feel led to share my story, my journey, and give somewhat of a different perspective, in the sense that I think there is value in a marriage between Western and Eastern medicine. Although some of the Western medicine therapies I completely disagree with, some of the alternative therapies I may not totally agree with either, although they're usually less harmful. So you're going to get my take, middle of the road, what I feel like has worked for me, been beneficial, what God has laid on my heart to share with all of you. And hopefully, the ultimate goal with everything, with you, with me, with any of us who go through this journey, is that there is this beautiful outcome in all of it when we start connecting with others, when we start connecting with God, and when we really start living our life in the healthy manner, aware, awakened to our environment, to things that have went on in the near history of our country and our world, that I believe is leading to the situation we're in with cancer, health crisis that we're in with cancer, cardiac disease, diabetes, and all of that. So I will be slowly going over each of the things I've done, what I will continue to do, how I will continue to live. I do think there's a difference between fighting in the midst of it and living day to day after. It's taken me time. I'm still figuring that one out. I'm still figuring out how to let go of some things, because I can't just be in therapy all day every day, and let go of this control of my life that cancer takes, right? And looking at it more of what it's done for me, where it's led me on my health journey, where it's led me on my spiritual journey with God, where it's led me on my humanistic journey with people, other people. I can tell you I've never felt more love in my life than on this journey, and the help of others, and what other people have shown me is just blown me out of the water. So this is my attempt to give back, to help others. Anyone can reach out to me, private message me that would like to. I have made it a goal of mine to never ignore a message, never ignore a phone call, and never put off helping someone that needs a piece of information or a bit of hope, a bit of an uplift. Anyway, I'm here if anyone wants to talk. Please scroll through, look at my photos, the before and after, I'm not here to give you my exact day-to-day ritualistic alternative therapy plan. I'm here to encourage you to do all that research on your own, but I am here to highlight a lot of the things that I have found super helpful, and hopefully be just that one more person that's told you about it and helped you through this. So anyway, happy Tuesday. A little overcast here in Phoenix, so it was a good day to be in, and I am fasting and praying today. Praying for the cancer victims of the world, praying for myself, praying for my family, praying for France. What a tragedy that went on there during our Holy Week of all times. Yeah, life's good, and talk talk to you soon.